Hi guys, welcome to Becodewala. I welcome you to the part 2 of our notes application. We have built the auth controller and notes and user models and email service and the OTP store, right? We have built all these things. Now we are going to build our middleware and the like notes controller, right? So that the nodes can be accessed by the that user who is logged in, right? So how we are going to identify that user is that nodes belong to that particular user or not. So we are going to create the middleware. Okay, so we'll start with the middleware, then we'll create the node controller, then remaining will create the routes, and then we'll create the app and index.ts. So we will complete our backend code in this tutorial. So if you are new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe us, and if you have not watched part 1, go and watch. So let's start with the middleware. So in middleware we are going to create a auth.ts file, right? So that auth.ts file we will using this we have to like check is this user is authorized or not to access the particular nodes. So in auth.ts we are going to first import request request response and next function. So these are the things provided by the express. So our request by the user, response from the backend, and next function is like next middleware, like we used in the previous tutorial. We have seen that, right? So if you want to see, go on my YouTube channel. So go to YouTube, and there I have explained everything from the scratch in very detail. So it is very long video, but it is in very detail. You can go and watch our previous monstack project, like we have created a to do. It is a to do application, but you can see that in how much detail I have explained. See, 4 parts in many hours I have explained all these things point by point, each word, right? So you can go and watch these things. You will get a better knowledge if you are a beginner. So you go and watch, and you can watch after this. So here we are going to create our auth middleware, and in this we are going to import our jwt, so from the JSON web token. So when the user is logged in, right here, when the user is logged in, we are storing the token. Let me see our token in the application. We will see a token in our cookies. In cookies we are storing this token. This token contain the user information, and we'll get the user information from this token by decoding this token, and we'll check in our database if this user has any nodes. If this user has any nodes, so these nodes, right? So let's go, and I will show you in my mongodb compass. So, and if you don't know how to install mongodb compass, how to like get the mongodb URI, you go and watch this to-do list part 1. You can go and watch to-do list part 1. There I will explain in very detail, so you can go and watch. So let me, so here is our nodes. So you can see that when we are creating nodes, right, this is the uh, particular id, object id of that nodes. But who created these nodes? Nodes is created by this user, right? This user id, and this user id will be present in this user. You can see that this user data, right here. This, suppose this user has created, right, this user has created this nodes, right? So each nodes have a particular user id, so that we can identify that this node is created by this user, right? So here let's import user from the dot models slash and user dot js, and here it is showing here user is declared but never read, so we will use this. So here we can remove this because we are exporting default, right? And then we can import I user. So we are importing the user model and user interface from your mongodb model that we have created, right? So after that, let's create our interface for our this auth middleware, right? So in this we are going to create an interface auth request, any name you can give, extend request, and in this we are going to get the user. So extend the request to including user property, right? So this is the interface and this is the user, right, from our mongodb models. So you can go and see the mongodb models that we have created in previous part, right? Now we can export our function. We can create a function export const auth authenticate token async. We are going to create async function. Then here we can pass the first request response and the next, right? And it should return a promise, right? It should return a promise, and you can make it void, and this return a promise, right? So after that we can create a try catch, and in this suppose if any error comes, so this why it is showing here, because we are returning some promise, right? So here for like catch we can write like this. So if any error console dot error auth middleware error, if error dot instance of jwt token invalid token, and if error of instance of jwt expire. So these are the c these are the benefits of using the typescript. See how beautifully it shows like jwt token error or jw has expired, right? This is the different like in different scenario, like if this errors comes, right, auth middleware error, if like your token is not valid, then you can show invalid token. Suppose your token is expired, then it will show this error, right? And then otherwise it will show authentication failed. So you can define this error in a for the different scenario, right? If some or like token expire error has come, then you can li like the error validation, like error instance of like jwt token expired, right? After that, after handling our errors, we are going to write the first we'll get the token from the user, right? So let token equal to request dot cookies dot token. So we are going to get the token from the user, right? So this cookie is present whenever we send some request from front end, we send this token also, right? So if not token, suppose we don't get the token, or here we can write and request dot cookie dot author request dot headers not cookie headers in request header authorization. Suppose if not in if token not found or in like if somebody requesting in that request headers if no token present, so from the headers we'll find, and that headers like if header start with a bearer, so we can write one more line here. If auth header start with the bearer, then token equal to, suppose we don't find token from the cookies, so suppose the token cookie is present in the headers, then we can get from that authorization header, right? So here, and the cookie start with the bearer means the first two it has a two arrays, so we can split it into two arrays, right? And we can get the first index, not the zeroth index, right? So that's why we are going to split it. And after that, if not token, so we can token missing error we can, so here we can write this on the top because we are returning promise here above, right? So we can't return this, right? So we have to write above, right? Now if see how clearly we are writing each and every corner points, right? If suppose if jwt secret, because to decode the your token we need jwt secret, with that jwt secret only we have encoded that, so we have to decode that also, right? So we need that jwt secret. If jwt secret is not present, it will show either jwc is not in defined in environment variable, this error, right? So you can write this error, you can check here also, right? And after that, suppose we got the token, how we are going to decode? So jwt dot verify, so this is the method, right? We are going to use to, so for creating token we use jwt dot sign, but to decode the token we use jwt dot verify, and with the token, and we use the jwt secret to decode this token, and we returning the user id as a string. Why we are returning user id as a string? So let me show you. When we are creating our like token, we are using particular user id. The user id information is present in the token, so it will return the, after decoding we have to get the user id, right? So and if that user id we are going to check in our database that the nodes is present with this particular id, right? In our database if we get the user id, so in our nodes, this nodes collection we are going to check, oh this user id present in this nodes, right? So this nodes is belong to this particular user id, right? So this is the way we write. So const user, we find the user, right? So here we can write await, and in our mongodb model, so find by id, and in this decode dot user id, decode date dot user id, right? We are not going to select the password, so exclude password. So we are going to get the user information except password, we are not going to select that. Suppose with suppose we got the user id, but that, yeah, with that user is not present in mongodb database, so we can say that user not found. See how many checks we are applying in our auth middleware. See this is the way to write the code, right? And if we got the user, we attach the user to the request object. So from the front end. If some request is coming, we can attach that user to the like request object, right? So if we got the user from the database, and we can proceed to the next. So next means, suppose we are going to use this middleware in the nodes controller. There we will use this middleware. So after verifying the user, only we can go for the like showing the nodes, right? So here if you don't want to write, so no need here, that's enough. And after that we can export these things, right? Export, so that we can use export auth request. Auth request we can export it, right? And after that we can create our node controller. So node controller.ts. So noteController.ts, we are going to create our node controller. How we are going to get our nodes, how we are going to update our nodes, how we are going to delete our nodes, how we are going to update our nodes. So here we'll write the logic for that, right? So we'll import a from response from express, and import node from our node.js middleware, right? So we have to use later. So import auth request from the middleware auth, right? That we have exported right now, right? So this auth, we have to auth request we have to import. So how we are going to use this middleware, I'll show you now. So suppose we have to get like create that nodes. Suppose user is logged in here, right? I am going to create these nodes. So this I will to fill all these fields, then we'll create these nodes. So who can create this node? The user which is login. And how we are going to find the user is login? If the token is present, right? So create const like create node, and in this, suppose here we are using like request auth request and response, and we have to return a promise. So why we are using auth request here? This is the middleware we are using, right? Before there is another way to use this middleware. So here this auth request, it's coming from our this middleware, right? So let me show you. So this interface that we have created, right? So we need this interface, right? So that's why we are passing auth request response here, right? And I'll show you like while building how we are going to use this. So this is the auth request middleware interface coming from our auth middleware. And after that, in the node controller, we have to create our nodes. So how we are going to create our nodes? So create our nodes, we have to write in try catch block, right? So after that, we have to write the either like internal server error or error in creating the node. So we can write it. And first, to create the node, we need title and content from the body. So two things we are taking from the request, title and the content. Then after that, we'll find the user id from the request.user id, assuming request.user is set by the auth middleware. So from the auth middleware, we are going to get that user information that we decoded, right? Suppose we got the user id, right? And after that, here we can write the exclamation mark also, and after that, if not the title or not the content, title and content are required, here we can show the message, right? All, please fill in all fields, or any message that if it is empty we can show this message. And how we are going to create a node? So to create a node we can write just new node, right? New node, this node is a middleware, and this how we create using typescript, right? And here we are using title, content and the user id. So when the node will create, it contain title, content and user id, and this is automatically created, right? Created and updated that timestamp we have used, right, while creating node middleware. If you don't watch, if you have not watched the part 1, you can go and watch. I will explain in detail. And after that we have to save. Await new node, we have to save, and we have to send the response, right? So in the response, 201 means created, node created successfully. And we can pass in the more detail here, right? So I'm going to pass here in more detail, right? This node equal to node id. So here we have to write like, here we can write node node. So node.id, what is the id of that node, title, content, created, updated that. So these are the things we are going to show in the response, right? While see that this is the created date, right? Right. And suppose I updated, right, must tag with Becodewala. So suppose I updated this, so updated, I have updated this, so it is updated. So I will refresh this, and I will see that this is the same date that we create, not the updated date it is showing, right? So we will fix this later in the front end, right? So you can go and fix in this front end when we will build in, like in the front end part. So you can change this, like this is the created date, but we can show the updated date, right? So at what time we have updated this, the nodes, right? So after that we can go for the another controller. So to get the nodes, how we are going to get the nodes? So export const get nodes async, and it will also return a promise that the nodes, we have get the nodes, right? So how we are going to get the nodes? So similarly we have to get the nodes from the user, and this user is coming from our this middleware, right, that we have created, right? In that we have created an interface, that user, right? So from that we are finding that user id. After that we have to find that, like, user id in our database. So this we will go to the node middleware, like model, and in that we, with the particular user id, we have to not find all nodes, we have to find the nodes which contain this id, and this id is getting from our auth middleware, right? So it will go to this and will search the this id, right? So we'll get the id, and we have to select that nodes that is created by the user, right? So here no need of this, we can write dot sort by created at -1. Or it is showing error, cannot find created. Wait, let me fix this. Wait, no dot find user id. So we don't need to find this, write this. Just simply suppose we get that user id, we attach this user id, then we have to sort created at, and let me remove this. Created at, oh sorry, we have to write in curly braces here. So now it is so created at, so it will show the newest one first, the newest one first. So that's why we are writing created at -1, right? And after we get the nodes, right? For this particular ig we have to get, so give the response to the, like, from the front end, right? So that we can show to the ui, right? Rest dot status and 200, and here we can pass the json, and in this json we can pass the, like, nodes, and we can map that nodes. Let me map node, and in this node we have to show the id. So let me show you. We can fix it later, no issue with this, because we are writing typescript, so it is showing error, right? So let's write code for the deletes nodes. How we are going to delete? So to delete node, so how we are going to delete the node? So we will write the try catch block, and in this we have to write the error handling, and after that we have to get the user id from the params. So const, we have to get the id from the request param, assuming node id is passed as a url parameter. So to delete the node we have to get the, like, id, node id from the url parameter we are assuming, and that we will write in our front end. When we will write the front end code you will understand this. So const user id, and this user id we are getting from our auth request. This is coming from our auth middleware, and after that const node. So interface is very powerful, and typescript makes the code more easy to write and more clear, right? So use typescript. So await, find, note, and one delete. So we are deleting one node at a time with the particular user id, right? So this we don't need, just we pass the user id, and this is the id of that node, right? After that, if not node, we can show them a response like not found, and this we can write below, and after that we can show that the response that node deleted successfully message, right? So it is nodes.js, not node.js. So that's why it was showing error here, and this note error also has fixed it. So because of this, the spelling mistake, because here we are using nodes, right, and we are reporting node, so that's why. So these are the small typing mistake, so no worries. After deleting nodes we have to update the nodes. So how we are going to update nodes? We have to get that id of that particular nodes, right? And the user is authorized or not to update that nodes, right? So export update node, right? Export update node. So in this is the auth request, this is the middleware, and from the middleware we are getting like the our user id, and here we are using try catch, and in this we are going to delete update the nodes. So how we are going to update the nodes? So first we'll get the like nodes id from the parents that we have get in the like deleting the nodes. While deleting the nodes we also get the id from the like id from the url parameter that we will define in the front end, right? So no worries, and const user id from the like middleware, and we will after that we have to get the like we suppose we are updating, right? So we have suppose we are updating the title and content. What are the things we are updating? So the two things also we have to get from the request body, and after that we can write the check. So if no content or title, then we can show title content are required, right? And suppose user has filled the title and that content, then we have to update. So how we are going to update? First we will find the node like the particular node, right? Find one and update. This is the method we are going to use provided by the mongoose, right? So node dot find one and update, we are going to update one nodes, right? That model that we have created, right? And this id, then this is the node id, that node id and the user id that will be same. We can't change this id. We are changing this title and content that we are, this is the two things we are getting from the front end, because we want to change only these two things. So title and content will be changed, and new equal to true. So it will up, like return the updated one, not the old one. So that's why we are written new true. And if not, so it will show not found, or you have not permission to update this node. So we can show this message. And if node has created, so we can show a message that 200 message that the node had successfully. And why we are using 404? So this is for the error, right? So like you have requesting some unusual unauthorized error, right? That's why we are showing 404, and can show the 400 also. And after that like create like updating our nodes, this all the middleware we have created, right? Creating nodes, getting the nodes, deleting the nodes, updating the nodes. So all these middleware we created, right? And we have sorry, of the controllers we have created for our nodes, and we are creating and this all these nodes, and we are identifying this user is authorized or not, that to check that we have created the this auth middleware. And with the auth request, from this auth request we are in this interface we are storing the user information, right? And that we are using here in the node controller. Now we have to create the routes for that. At what route, right? All these things will be accessed. So you can create the auth routes.ts. So first we'll write the auth route.ts. In this we are importing the express, and we are going to use the group routes. What is the group routes? I am going to tell you. Express group route is very good, and import like sign up OTP and everything that we have created, verify OTP, right? In our auth, in our auth controller, we have, see, in this many function we have created send sign up OTP, verify sign up OTP while login, right? So let me, where is our auth routes? And in this, after importing all these things functions from the controller, we have to import our, like, we no need auth middleware because we have already, like, used in our nodes controller, and there we need middleware. We no need middleware in our auth, right? We need middleware in our, like, nodes, right? And we are going to use group route. So const router equal to express.router. This is the way to create our group route. And router, like, send sign up, send OTP, send sign up OTP, send verify OTP, and after that we can write sign in OTP, sign in verify OTP, and log out, and we can use get profile. All these routes, at this route this function will be, so this function will uh, be working on this route. So suppose you want to send sign up OTP, so at this route the sign up OTP will be sent, right? And that this route will be we will use this route in our front end, and we have to export our router. This is the group route. So after that we have to create our node route, nodes node routes.ts, and in this also we have to, like, import our all the necessary thing, and in this we are going to use middleware. So auth middleware const route equal to spread.router to create our group route, and router.use route router.use authenticate token. So this is the middleware that we have created that we are going to use, and here we are not using this middleware at the app level. This is the middleware we are using at the route. This is the route level, the group route, right? For this particular, so what is the particular, like, creating nodes and get the nodes, delete the nodes, and update the nodes, right? So this is the, and we are exporting. So at this route only this middleware will be applied. So this is the route level middleware, not the app level middleware, right? So if you use here, so no need, like, in our JavaScript we have passed two things, right? Sorry, three things: request, response, and the middleware. Before giving the request and like response, we use middleware, right? But here we can use middleware for this route here directly at the route level, right? So apply middleware to all route for the checking. It will check this, that a user is authorized or not. And why it is showing error? User ID, we have, we will fix this later. Why is it showing user ID of type unknown? That we find in the, like, first part of this tutorial. So leave that, we will fix this later, no worries. If any error will come, we will fix that. So after that we are remaining with the app.ts, index.ts. So this is the main thing, that in the package.json we are using index.js, right? Where it is index.js. So this index.js will control everything. So first of all we'll write the, like, app.ts, then we'll write index.ts. So in app.ts, first we'll import all the necessary thing. So, like, express to create our server, course, like to which URL we have to send our data, right, from the backend. So there we'll define the front end URL in the course. And cookie parser, so this cookie parser we are going to use. So incoming request from the front end, and helmet to protect our like express. And here rate limit, so we are going to use rate limit. So suppose user is hitting our API multiple time, so it increases our cost of our database if you are using, if you are a premium user, right? So it may cost your DB, so that's why we are limiting that user. You can request like 5 to 10 requests in a minute only, right? So we can use rate limit. And auth and notes that we are going to use in our express app. So here const app express app dot use. So we are going to use helmet, so protect our express app. And here we have to express security middleware. And const, so we can apply the limit, right? So here we can create the limit. So this rate limit is coming from the express rate limit that we have installed in our package.json, right? Express limit, see. And this we have passed the how many minutes. So in 50 minutes how many requests we can pass? Maximum 100 requests. So 100 requests per window ms, right? And here if user is hitting more than 100 in 15 minutes, it will show this message: too many requests from this IP, please try again later. So it will show this message. And we have applied this our to our like app level, right? So and we have to use course, right? So course we are using because to this client URL only we are sending our data, the response, not to the other URL, right? So we define course. And credential true, that we, so the user should be authorized, and this method only allowed. And allow headers will be content type, authorization, and the cookie, right? So after that we can apply other middleware. Suppose ex express.json, so limit 10 MB. So this will make our incoming request in the JSON, and it will, and the we have used like URL encoded to encode the incoming like request from our front end, and this and the cookie parser to pass the cookie, right? So these are the things that we have to apply when we are building the MERN stack application, right? So these are the important middleware that we need to use. And after that we have to use this at app level, right? API auth, this auth routes will be at this, and the nodes route will be at this path. So after that, suppose our like our application that express server is working or not. So how we are going to check our express server is working correctly or not? So we can check the health. So here we have defined a route API slash health. We can go to this route, and at this route it will show a response like status is okay, and the time, right? And at this time it will show it is okay, status is okay, our express server is working fine. So this is also an important part while we are building MERN stack application. And we can apply the error handling middleware at the app level. So if any error of type any, or any like request express request express this is the response, and then next, so it will show error. This is the error that we are applying at the app level. So we can use this also, so that it will be easy to debug your if any errors comes in your backend, right? So this is the important middleware that we can use while building our merge stack application. And suppose user is requesting on the other route that we have not defined. So here we have defined these routes only. Suppose user is asking API, like API nodes slash nodes, because we have not defined that type of route, right? Suppose if API user is requesting API slash Becodewala, but we have not defined that route. So if user try to access, we have to show route not found, this error, right? So we have to show this error. And after that we have to export our this application that we have, this express application we have created. Now we have to start our express application. So how we are going to listen our express application on which port, right? So for that we are see how we are writing our all this code in a modular function way, right? So here importing mongoose. So this mongoose we are going to, we are going to like initialize or configure our mongodb database where our all the data should be present. We can like write here also the config. We can create a config file, and there we can configure all these things, right? So you can go and create in the like previous video I have created in the to do list. There I have created, written the config file separately, but here I am going to use in this. So no worries, you can create a separate file, so it will be easy to manage and maintain your code. And here we are using .env. So we are using .env because here suppose in our env files we have many variables, right? That we are secret key that we are going to use. The secret key should be accessed, right? By your like express app. So to access that we have to use .env package, and this app.js that we have imported from this. So why we are writing .js? Because it will at the end it will compile to like .js only. So we are using the typescript because for the type safety. And here we can config .env.config. And after that, suppose I want to run our on the 5000 port and our like express app. And this is the suppose mongo URI. This is from the .env. We can write the mongo URI. How to get the mongodb database URI? You can go and watch my part 1. This is the part 1 of the to do list. There I have explained in detail how to get the mongodb URI if you don't know to get. And here we can define mongoose dot connect, and we can pass the like mongo URI. So let me, I've already written code for this in a very good way. So here we are using mongodb URI, right? And let me write fully. So here mongodb URI that we have used, and mongo URI, this is the name should be same as that we have used here, right? Mongo URI. So mongoose.connect, this is the method to connect to this mongodb URI. So this URI will get from the mongodb database. You can go and get from the mongodb official website. And how to get that, I am explaining this part 1 of our to do list application that I have created already. And after that we can listen to our like it will after like connecting to mongodb, it will show a message connected to mongodb. And if any error will come, it will show the error here, right? Mongodb connection error. And here we can suppose we have created our app, but at what port we want to listen our server. So we want to listen our server that we have defined here for the port. So this port we can define in our like .env file. otherwise it will run on this 5000 port. And client URL, it will show at what our client is URL is, so like localhost 5173 or some domain, right? So at what your front end it is, so this is the front end URL. And after that, if any error will come here in our connecting mongodb, it will exit, right? So this how we have completed our like our notes application, right? We have to test all these things. So after completing our front end also, we can test in the last, if any errors comes, right? We can fix it later, right? So no worries, we will test all these things in the last after building our like front end. So after that we can test, no worries. So I will test all these things and I will make my notes application to work perfectly. So we will build our front end in the next part of the tutorial. So in the part 3 we are going to start the front end, and after completing our front end we are going to connect our front end and the back end, and we are going to test our application. So no worries. So if you want, you can go and test with the postman. So you can go and use the postman to test your backend, and you will get all this full source code on my like github. So here in the first part, you can see here we have to write our auth controller. In the first part you can go and see I have covered all these things, and I have given the source code here, backend source code, and how to deploy MERN stack application I have also shown here, right? You can go and check it out my previous tutorial, and we will meet in the next part 3 to build all this UI, the front end. So hope you guys like the tutorial, and if you have any doubt you can comment in the YouTube, and here like if you like our like project, you can give a star on the github and you can follow. So we'll meet in the next part. So thanks for watching.